So everybody want to know how I keep whipping up everything so fast while being a CEO and a full-time artist. I'm sitting here trying to tell you that.
It's Terrence, man.
I always like to ask, is there anything particular that you'd like to talk about or have anything coming up that you want to like talk around so that it's, you know what I mean? I be all over the place. That's what I'm gonna say. I be all over the place. So
I'm everywhere with it. We can definitely go into the space of like being independent and non-traditional when it comes to relaying media and news and information, and how that actually attracts this generation to news and information without having that redundant mindset of negativity when it comes to news and information. I definitely would love to tackle that. But as far as things coming up on July 29th, I'm actually...
It's not on.
Oh, you pressed the right button. You did.
Oh, we up. you heard me the first two times. You hit it and hit it. You was on it. Go on.
Yeah, so on July 29th, I'm actually going to be co-hosting the All Love Black Party, which is hosted
I seen that joint with Queen Yazzie. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
So I'm actually going to be hosting that. So I'm excited about that with Black Soul Summer, like you said, with Queen Yazzie. So I'm looking forward to really just being in the city, like what Black Soul Summer has done for Philadelphia, creative community, influencer community, musicians, DJs, like all of the above. I'm going to take my hats off to both Taj and Melvin. You know what I mean? I have a great relationship with them. So being able to host the 6th annual All Love Black Party is definitely something I'm looking forward to. So shout out to that. And that's going down on the 29th of July.
Yo, like,
at One Art. So shout out, we're talking about Black on everything. It's going down 52nd Street in West Philly at One Art Community Center.
And like you just said, that lineup is crazy.
Yeah, I'm
that thing is stacked.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is like a concert, but it's literally Philly based, created. Exactly. Like the gang is on the. Yo, that's crazy. So I'm happy like you brought that up.
Yeah. So that's going down for sure.
But you talked about media, right? And I was talking to my mans earlier, like non-traditional means and approaches towards content. The way I look at content every day is that as a child, I didn't feel secure with the advice and the guidance that I was given by adults. I wasn't secure with the school thing. I wasn't secure with the job thing. I wasn't secure about the military thing. And that was exactly what I perceived. I'm like, you don't seem too happy. You don't seem too secure and fulfilled by that. So like, it's definitely my last resort. And then when I became an adult and recognized the limited perspective on what can be done outside of those paradigms, it started making me want to be like, all right, somebody got to do something about this. So now I think about the kid, right? I'm thinking about the kid like, yo, this is for the kid who knows they don't want to go that route already. They know it. They like, I do not want to do that stuff. But I need a guide. I need influence towards the resources, towards the information. I need to know where to go. And I'm like, yeah.
Let's change that word from influence. I need the knowledge.
I need the knowledge.
Yeah.
I need the knowledge to know where to go. Like, so I'm like, that's where my content delivers from. Because I think about the snooty parent who wants to fearmonger their children into following in their footsteps. And then I just reverse engineer it and be like, what do kids want to know about this space, this media, this celebrity, this knowledge that I'm equipped with? How can I, and not just the kids, I start with that idea of younger people, and then I think about the adult who's willing to make a change. Okay. Like, do you need to make a change? Are you recognizing this isn't fulfilling? Are you ready to be your authentic self? All right, well, I'm here. Right, we could build on that. But like, that's my approach on the traditional, because traditionally, like you said, it's things being rhetoric, like repeated stuff, repetition, then that repetition creates memorization for groups of people, and then those memorizations become that rhetoric that I mentioned. It's like, you just saying it.
Yeah.
You that don't hold no value to you. It hasn't provided any value to you, and you just saying it. So that's my immediate thought of, when you brought that up, like if that's answering and facilitating the question that you mentioned.
It's more or less like wanting to create a space where it could be a trusted message and a trusted voice, and it's coming also from a trusted source. So having that outlet to look onto for any information, so like right now in Philadelphia, shout out to No Gun Zone, right? against somebody who I truly respect as far as a media outlet and doing it in a non-traditional way, right? So no Gun Zone is simply just an Instagram page. It's not a website. It's not an app. It's really something that you have to go onto another platform to see. But when I tell you millions and thousands of people do that a day to see what's happening in Philadelphia, like people who are on the West Coast who are not even in the country go to this particular Instagram page to see what's happening. So, and that's a non-traditional fashion of doing that. So being able to relay that information as a trusted source is like my ideal goal and intention. So when it comes down to being that, you also don't want to be that negative either where, and I'm not saying that his page isn't not negative or anything. I just didn't want the correlation to be tied into. I'm just saying that you don't want to be tied into the stigma of what's happening with media as far as it just triggering folks in a negative way, as far as killing, gun violence in general, domestic, whatever it may be. So also being able to put that out there, but put that out there in a way where it's using a story to amplify voices, but then also get to some type of solution or conversation surrounding a solution. So telling Monica's story about how she's dealing with the loss of her son through gun violence in the city of Philadelphia, or telling Mr. Wilson's story about how he's now paralyzed from the waist down because he was sitting on his couch and a bullet went through, versus just reporting a bullet just went through the window on 52nd and blah 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 blah. Let's go talk to the person that got that bullet that went through that and put that onto the news and have that conversation so people can be more relatable or relative. It can be more relative to people who are listening and watching as far as an audience. So
don't be scared and you hit the button.
So yeah, like that type of news.
You started talking that stuff, the lights went out.
Yeah.
You know what everybody says. You start talking that talk, the lights go out.
And I want to keep doing it that way. But yeah, so just being able to give that type of space and grace to people who actually consume and really embody what I have to say or what the people I'm interviewing or talking to have to say at the same time.
I never thought of it like that, like, why didn't you just go tap in? I mean, maybe sometimes people are grieving, they might not be there for it, but like, it's definitely a perspective that could be shared and would be very valuable.
Yeah.
Like, what happened
I'm
to
not
the
Fox.
person?
I'm not NBC. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be able to be the first on the scene to say breaking news, breaking story. Like, I'm not
helicopters and
you know
vans
what I mean?
pulling
Like,
up.
I'm not that as of yet on that level. You know, but at the same time, it's still a story that needs to be told, and they're so confined to breaking a story that they're missing the story. They just want to be the first to break the story. I want to be the first to talk to that grieving mother. Like, I want to be the first to talk to that person who has to put in that insurance claim because now they have a bullet hole through their car. Like, that's the kind of conversation I want to have, and that conversation that is missing with just the infrastructure of Philadelphia media. So that's where I come in.
And you use the word trust a lot, and it's like, I think I talked to
podcasts out in this world. I mean, people who claiming they're this, they're that. Like, heck yeah, you gotta people have to feel you and believe it. Like, it has to be authentic. It has to be real. Like, I'm not no person who's looking for no blue check. Like, I'm not here for none of that. Like, I'm here because I actually love what I do, and I want to see people win and survive in this life that we call, a life.
Sure. That's the one thing I hear people talk about. Like, I create communities for creative entrepreneurs who want to be their authentic selves while building digital communities. Mm-hmm. So, like, one thing we talk about, is trust. Like, people they don't feel like they trust people, mm-hmm. and they don't feel like there's a consistent place that they can go that they can trust. Mm-hmm. And for me, because I know how to isolate and like build things with and for and by myself, I always had a hard time understanding from my observation. Like, I'm like, well, you be everywhere, so I would have never knew. So I'm like, if I don't trust someone, I ain't going. So that's something I want to end this conversation with, is like, how can we, with those stories, why do you think those stories and that depth of the story can provide some trust or healing to these communities like Philadelphia? I talked to somebody outside of Philadelphia. I was like, yo, if I dropped you in Philadelphia right now, what would you be looking for? They're like, people to trust. right? So it's like it's a common thing that people need, maybe not talk about enough. Like you said, whether it's not being reported. How do you think that it can be an effective way to heal and create guidance or whatever it is that you are attempting? What's the result? Like, what is the result that comes with?
Let me give two things. One, I would say it starts with yourself, like knowing who you are as a person, like trusting yourself. If you can't trust yourself, you can't trust nobody. So in the space of like knowing what you actually want and what your intentions are before you go and do whatever it is that you're about to do. The second thing I would say is actually being able to go into the space without having a pre-notion that something is going to happen. You know, like actually just believing in good faith that something can come out of whatever predicament that you put yourself in, because you trusted yourself enough to go and do or have will and faith to do it. So now you just have to have faith that that is going to be a good outcome for you as a person. So it's really nothing that we can do because we can't control someone else. You know what I mean? Like I can trust you for the first 2 years we together, and then next you know you find out something that I'm vulnerable with, and then you take that, and not because it was something that your conscious mind did. It was like your subconscious was like, yo, she not gonna miss this. She always leave this. And you take it, you put that shit in your pocket. And I'm like,
do that to one of my partners. Yelling my ass.
I come back and I get that. I'm like, yo, with my boo boo, like, bro, you leave this here all the time. I'm like, yeah, but I came back today for it. Like, where is it? And you the one that took it. Like, my whole thing would be different, you know. So it really just comes to a space of just trusting yourself and having faith that other people will do right by you, just like how you said, you know, you want people to treat you like how you treat them. So yeah.
I took my sister's Converse one time in 4th grade, some all white joints, and like I didn't know we was gonna play kickball.
Oh, you crushed them.
I crushed them. So I wasn't even able to just put them. My whole plan was just to put them back in the closet, and it just never happened. Why did I play kickball that day? Because I'm in 4th grade. I'm not missing out on this. I'm trying to catch this wreck. You know what I mean? Hit it over the fence. Man, you know, this is an 18-year-old woman. So these joints flopping off the back, they're not on. Well, I wanted to wear them joints so bad. My sister never felt it. I broke her trust real bad.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, that
it's
one.
A thing.
That
it's
one.
A thing. It's a thing.
So like when you said that was an old story. But like I said, recently I treated something like a 3, but on somebody's boundaries, that thing was 8. It was like, yeah, you tripping.
Yeah.
Right.
But on a media content perspective, just to like round it up to what we were talking about all day, like I have an acronym that I use, which is entitled OR. So the O in OR stands for ownership, the A in OR stands for accountability, and the R in OR stands for responsibility. So if you want to get on my boat and catch this wave, you got to be in a space of taking ownership, accountability, and being responsible for everything that you do, or you can't catch no waves with me. You need your own paddle boat, my guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm still on the paddle boat, so I need the oars, you know? So if you're going to be around me in my paddle boat, because I'm not yachting yet, you're going to grab one of my oars, I need you to be responsible, accountable, and responsible for anything that happens while we're on this boat and catching this wave. And I use that a lot.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor.
Yeah, I don't play that.
I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. Is there anything I like to do? What I like to do, getting out of every episode, I like to bring it real close and do a close up.
Okay.
And then like you just give them some last words and any sentiments and stuff. So
okay,
I'm gonna close it out.
all right. Nobody did a great job.